paragraph 3 to page 273, paragraph 1, under what circumstances did Jehovah God allow the Israelites to engage in warfare? And the setting here is sharing her belief with a workmate.
Michelle, don't forget tomorrow I'll be collecting the donations for the Foster and Soldier program that the company started.
Diana, I do appreciate your reminder. However, as a Christian, we remain impartial when it comes to political views, and we don't engage on contribution when it comes to wars.
But why not? I know that God allowed wars during Bible times, and it seems to me like there was a lot of fighting going on.
Diana, I do recall those accounts, but do you know where they were fighting?
No.
Since I have my Bible with me, let's go and review that. In Deuteronomy 7:1-5. Would you like to read it?
Oh, okay. You said 7:1 and 2? Okay. When Jehovah your God at last brings you into the land to which you are going so as to take possession of it, he must also clear away populous nations from before you, the Hittites and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations more populous and mighty than you are. And Jehovah your God will certainly abandon them to you, and you must defeat them. You should without fail to devote them to destruction. You must conclude no covenant with them, nor show them any favor. See, they were always fighting, I told you. Okay, and you said 5?
Yes, please.
On the other hand, this is what you should do to them. Their altars you should pull down, and their sacred pillars you should break down, and their sacred poles you should cut down, and their graven images you should burn with fire.
So what was the purpose of the wars, Diana?
Well, it seems to be they had to eliminate certain people and clean the land.
That is correct. So let's go to Deuteronomy 9:5 to see why he wanted them to eliminate those people and clean the city. Let me read it for you. It says, "It is not for your righteousness or for the righteousness of your heart that you're going in to take possession of their land. It is in fact, it is for the wickedness of these nations that Jehovah your God is driving them away from before you, and is in order to carry out the word that Jehovah swore to their forefathers." So Diana, what do you conclude with this text?
Okay, so God, Jehovah he wanted them to clean the nation.
Yes, he did. And one important point is that Jehovah reminded them that it was not up to them to determine it was righteous or not, or who they go to wars with. It was up to Jehovah to determine that. Also, if you notice on verse 5 in the last sentence, Jehovah reminded them that they promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that their children were inheriting this land, the land of their forefathers. So in order for this to happen, they needed to clean the land from people that didn't worship Jehovah. So as you can see, Diana, the wars that the Israelites were going through were holy wars of Jehovah. But can we say the same things of the wars of this nation?
I guess not.
One thing to keep in mind is that the Israelites were under the law of Moses. And since Jesus' death, we're no longer under that law, but we're under a new commission, and that is to make disciples. Diana, do you think as Christians, we go to wars against another nations, won't we be fighting against fellow believers or people that ask the same God for help?
Yes, Michelle, that's actually a very good point.
Well, let me read one last text to you, and that will be Matthew 26:52. And I'll read it for you. Matthew 26:52. And it says, "Then Jesus says to him, 'Return your sword to its place, for all those who take the sword will perish by the sword.'" So what does Jesus says will happen to those people that take action in their hand and resort to violence?
It says that they will die. Okay, but then who's going to protect our country and who's going to protect us in general?
That is a great question, Diana. Since our lunch is almost over, how about if I review that with you tomorrow in our lunch?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, sisters. Very well explained, a difficult subject for people to grasp, they don't want to grasp it, because it's against everything that they've been taught all their life to believe. But I thought you handled it tactfully, it wasn't confrontational, and you used let the Bible do the talking. People are less inclined to argue with the Bible than with you. So if you share the scriptures, then they really can't make it personal. They have to argue with a book. It's not so easy to do. One of the things you did very well, you spoke clearly and distinctly, and that's important. And to do that, we really have to learn to use this magnificent instrument Jehovah's given, our instrument of speech, diaphragm, get the air to come up our throat. If we get nervous, we tighten our throat and we start to sound very, I can't exactly think of the word I want, but strained. Sound doesn't come out freely. But you didn't do that. You spoke clearly. You formed the words. We have to form the words correctly with our mouth. We talk to our teeth. Nobody can understand. Some people do that. We have to actually open our mouth, and you did. So we can form these words. We don't use slang expressions or anything like that. We don't rush through it. When we're nervous, that's what we want to do. We want to rush through this and get off in 30 seconds or less. But you took your time and explained these Bible truths in a good way. So we appreciate that. And see, both of you see me after the meeting, and I'll mark your guidebooks or education books, and then we'll give you something to work on for next time.